Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling this massive, kind of mysterious premise presented by Dr. Imran Khan Nagori. It's a fascinating, highly compressed moment of insight that really challenges how we understand the brain's ability to process sudden, overwhelming shifts in reality. We're not talking about, slowly changing your habits over time. We are talking about an instantaneous, forced architectural shift in the mind.
So put your detective hats on for a second because we are going to treat this whole thing like a forensic investigation of human cognition. Can your mind really be rewired? We usually think of mental rewiring as this slow, deliberate process, right? Like meditation, habit stacking, months of intentional practice. But what if that is only half the story? What if the absolute most profound rewiring happens entirely involuntarily, like sparked by sudden, catastrophic life events that literally force our brains to adapt on the spot just to survive the shock? Well, let's take a look at the exact evidence Dr. Nagori provides.
Just listen to this raw, totally unfiltered anecdote from the source material. Quote, "Proved suddenly situation, we were doing business together and suddenly I'm in the morning, I got a Callestific symptoms. Then I came to know foreign." End quote. Just let that chaotic, disorienting structure kind of wash over you for a moment. It's fragmented, it's grammatically unconventional, and it feels incredibly rushed. But honestly, that is exactly the point. This isn't some polished academic essay, it's the raw linguistic footprint of a brain that has just experienced a massive jolt. The very syntax here mirrors the disorientation of a mind actively undergoing a forced rewire.
All right, part one, the mind rewiring premise. Let's do a forensic breakdown.
Moving right into part two, a sudden business disruption. This is our inciting incident.
To uncover the hidden mechanism of this mental rewiring, we're basically mapping out the exact sequence of a psychological short circuit. The context here is a business relationship, right? So a disruption of commerce, trust, and routine. Think about this specific phrase, suddenly situation. Notice how incredibly jarring that language is. Dr. Nagori doesn't say an unexpected event occurred. No, he mashes the words together into a suddenly situation. And by doing that, the suddenness literally becomes the nature of the situation itself. It emphasizes the emotional weight, the complete lack of preparation, and just the extreme abruptness of the event. Your brain expects a nice linear flow of time and events, and a suddenly situation completely derails that track.
And this brilliantly illustrates the rapid, escalating sequence of this microstory. At point one, we have the past, doing business together. This is a state of normalcy, partnership, predictable routine. Then bam, point two, we hit the morning call. This is the exact moment of impact. Instantly, at point three, this triggers immediate physical reactions. And finally, point four, we have the aftermath, which is a completely altered state of reality. Notice how tightly compressed this timeline actually is. The mind isn't given days to process this. It's forced to process massive change in a matter of hours, maybe even minutes.
Which brings us to part three, the morning call, shattering routine.
Mornings are typically associated with fresh starts, routine, predictable beginnings. But here, we're dealing with two wildly contrasting realities. Doing business together represents absolute stability. It's an established neural pathway where the brain knows exactly what to expect. But then we hit the ultimate system error. Suddenly, I'm in the morning, got a Callestific symptoms. It is such a stark contrast between stability and just an abrupt shock. When the brain encounters a reality that wildly contradicts its established pathways, like a betrayal or a sudden loss in a trusted business partnership, it doesn't just process the information, right? It physically recoils.
Part 4. Unexplained physical symptoms. The bodily reaction. So now we're transitioning out of the psychological and straight into the physical realm. Because true mental rewiring is rarely just a thought experiment. It almost always manifests in the body. Take this phrase, Callestific symptoms. Now, obviously, that's not a word you are going to find in any medical dictionary, but I want to lean heavily into the glitchy, mashed-up nature of this word. Callestific. It sounds almost like a collision between the word call and words like catastrophic or maybe terrific in that terrifying, overwhelming sense. It represents a literal mental short circuit taking place in real time. The brain is so completely overwhelmed by the suddenness of the situation that language itself breaks down trying to describe the physical toll.
For the purpose of this explainer, we're going to actually define this unique anomaly right here, right now. We're absolutely not dismissing this as a typo. No way. Instead, we're treating it as the exact physical manifestation of a system overload. When you experience cholestific symptoms, your heart races, your stomach drops, your entire nervous system is just firing on all cylinders. It is the biological alarm bells signaling that the old mental framework is just no longer viable. It makes a total psychological rewire absolutely necessary for survival.
And finally, part 5, the final realization, after the shock.
So what actually happens after the initial shock and the cholestific symptoms finally begin to subside, and the dust settles on this suddenly situation? We get this highly unusual concluding phrase, "Then I came to know foreign." It doesn't say, "Then I understood what happened," or "Then I moved on." It literally says, "came to know foreign." This is the ultimate moment of realization, but it's framed as this profound alienation. The mind has been rewired so abruptly that the new reality, the new state of being, feels completely foreign to the individual. That old world of doing business together, it's gone, and the rewired brain is now operating in a completely foreign, uncharted landscape.
Let's summarize this incredible core sequence just to make sure we've got it. Step 1, the suddenly situation occurs, instantly shattering all expectations. Step 2, the body and mind experience a cholestic physical overload, just a complete system crash where the old wiring burns out. And step 3, a new realization emerges, but it feels distinctly foreign. This perfectly shows how Dr. Nagori's source material frames extreme, sudden trauma. It's not just a bad day at work, you guys. It is the exact catalyst required for the mind to forcibly restructure and rewire itself just to adapt to a new, unrecognizable reality.
And that brings us to the final and probably the most important question for you to ask yourselves today. Are the sudden disruptions in your own life actually the exact moments your mind is forced to rewire? Seriously, think about it. The next time you face your own suddenly situation and you feel those overwhelming physical symptoms, remember this explainer. You might not just be enduring a difficult morning, your brain might be actively, violently, and necessarily rebuilding its entire perception of the world. It's a fascinating, if maybe a little terrifying mechanism of human resilience. Thank you so much for exploring this profound concept with me today, and definitely keep questioning how your own mind adapts to the unexpected.